She became an icon almost overnight, but few knew the full story. Welcome to the channel Star Spotlight, where we revisit the lives behind the moments that defined an era. For many, Heather Thomas is remembered through a series of unforgettable images, sunlit beaches, confident poses, and a presence that seemed to capture the spirit of an entire decade. Yet what those images represented went far beyond surface beauty. At the height of her popularity, Heather Thomas was more than a familiar face. She was part of a cultural shift, where television, fashion, and public perception began to merge in new ways. But what is less often discussed is how quickly that rise came, and the personal cost that followed. Before the cameras and recognition, her journey began quietly. Raised with a strong academic foundation, she attended university at a young age and showed early signs of ambition that extended beyond entertainment. Acting, at first, was not simply about fame, it was a creative outlet, a way to explore identity and expression. Her breakthrough came with television success, where she became widely recognized for her role in a popular action-adventure series. It was during this time that her image began to take on a life of its own. Magazine covers, public appearances, and yes, those now iconic swimsuit moments, turned her into a symbol of confidence and allure during the late 80s and early 90s. But there was an unspoken tension beneath that image. As her popularity grew, so did the expectations. The same visuals that brought admiration also placed her under constant public scrutiny. Many remember the photographs, but fewer recall the pressure behind maintaining that image. It is often said that fame reveals as much as it conceals, and in her case, that contrast became increasingly difficult to navigate. There were moments when stepping back became necessary. What is less known is how deliberately she chose to redefine her life. Rather than remaining within the cycle of public attention, she shifted her focus toward personal growth and stability. She explored writing, became involved in meaningful causes, and gradually stepped away from the spotlight that once defined her. This transition was not sudden, it was thoughtful. Her story reflects a deeper reality faced by many public figures. The world may celebrate a moment, an image, or a phase, but individuals continue to evolve beyond what is captured. In Heather Thomas's case, those iconic swimsuit moments became part of a larger narrative, not the entirety of it. And that narrative includes resilience. There is a quiet strength in choosing a different path, especially when the world expects you to remain the same. Her ability to move beyond typecasting in public perception speaks to a level of self-awareness that is rarely highlighted. Today, her legacy exists in layers. On one hand, she remains a visual symbol of a particular time, an era defined by bold aesthetics and emerging media influence. On the other, she represents something more enduring, the ability to reclaim one's identity beyond external expectations. Perhaps that is what makes her story worth revisiting. Not just for the images that once captured attention, but for the journey that followed, one that reminds us that every public moment is only a fragment of a much larger life. And maybe the real story was never just about the spotlight. If this story gave you a new perspective, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you found it meaningful, you can support the channel with a like. And for more stories that go beyond the surface, consider subscribing to Star Spotlight.